was the heavy hitter.
Yep. All right. Overall thoughts on story.
I think overall I really liked it. The fact that this story takes place over the entirety of like your character's life is a really interesting choice that I actually really enjoyed.
A trilogy.
It's something, yeah. It's like every Dragon Quest that we played has been like something really new every time, basically. Like you take chapters out of like each person's life until they group up, and then they like have the team fight, which is awesome. And then
very unique.
It's
it always revolves around the hero's bloodline too.
Yeah, like
there's a huge emphasis on family within this series so far.
Yeah, especially in this one, where you get to see like
you actually
the whole
have
life of it.
the whole family. Yeah, and then it's like that has the certain connection still from 4, where like it's the Zenithian dragon in the city. Something's clearly happened to like warp the world into darkness.
And it's kind of like another heaven and hell kind of parallel, but this time you don't actually travel to hell.
Yeah, they're still like following the simple storyline in a way of the hero versus the demon lord, like that they've had since like the first game.
Good and evil.
But they add certain things to make it a more interesting storytelling. Like for this one, your character isn't the hero. He isn't the one who is destined to defeat the bad guy. Although he totally does, but
he helps.
He's not the one that like is the hero, like the bloodline of the hero.
He's the main character that you see everything through his eyes.
Yeah.
Which is a cool perspective.
It's a cool thing. It's like being outside of it and like seeing it while being a participant. I enjoyed the whole idea of like going through as your character from childhood, and then seeing the time passage, seeing how hard his life has been. Like he goes to fucking like he's a slave,
and you experience the slavery.
Yeah,
too.
like you experience
the
it a little bit
of it.
Yeah, it shows you a little bit, and then. It keeps going with like, and then you turn into a fucking statue. And then, and like, it's like, hey, maybe, you're at that age where you should probably get married, it's like, and your friend gets married and
quickly.
It's like, so like, and it's like, it's an interesting thing that like you actually get married in the game. And it's not something that's like, in any game where you are able to get married and like other things like, Fallout. Like you can choose, you can get married in those things, like in Skyrim as well. But they're just like it's
unnecessary.
Yeah, it's an unnecessary kind of side thing. Where this is like, oh well, like everything kind of revolves around you and your bloodline specifically.
Yeah, and even though you don't really get a choice, it does give you a choice.
Yeah, you
3
get the
options.
choice in like who you would want to marry, like in the game, which is another interesting thing. Like,
and they all have various personalities. Too, that set them
you get
apart.
like the kind of shy girl in Nera, and then you get the childhood friend out of Bianca, and then you get like the harsh beauty of Deborah.
Yep.
So it's really interesting to like see how like all of that goes. I really enjoyed the story for this one, despite some problems with the fact that there's fucking time travel. Although it wasn't like a huge deal because I thought it was gonna be.
There are some plot holes. The time travel parts of it.
Yeah, there's like some minor things here and there, but it's nowhere near as bad as like fucking Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 8, where like they revolve around a time plot, but they really are just fucking the timeline.
Yep.
But in this one, it's not really doing that. It's kind of like a weird, that you visit it and you interact with your past a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you on the story.
Yeah.
One thing though that I didn't like is that they didn't let you play as your father.
I did enjoy having him in the party, and he really fucking messed up people.
You don't control him though.
He was like fucking Ragnar from 4, but like totally just wrecking shit. But then you don't ever get to use him, which was really it is a downer because I kind of wish that you could have like played out at least the fight where it's him by himself against the monsters.
Yeah.
Up until like where it's like, oh well, you have to lose now.
Yeah. And I feel like in the time plot too, you could have went back and saved him.
Yeah, but then
But I
that would
don't
have
know.
changed the entirety of the game,
Yeah.
Paradox.
which would have been a paradox, which
Yeah.
I am totally okay it didn't happen because
The
of that.
problem though is that they used his death to push the plot forward, which I don't know if I liked very much.
I think it wasn't exactly his death that pushed the plot forward. I think
Yeah.
it like is a thing that's because like either way they would have still like searched for his mother, and he probably would have just married Bianca,
Yeah.
like because he knows her, and like they would have been around searching for the hero
But
forever.
he wouldn't have been the king too. That was important, I think.
Yeah, it would have been in a way, but at the same time, like the really important part was giving birth to the hero,
True.
which I think probably would have still happened.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess it's just that the death wasn't that necessary. Because I feel like they could have removed him from the story, but kept him alive.
If you take out the father, the story completely works without the father. I think that's
It
what you're
does.
trying to say, Dylan.
Yeah.
Although I think him being added in there does make it a better story in the long run, but I do definitely see your point on how you could just take him out and it'd still be fine.
I feel like you could, like, if he lived, that they could have done like a side story to that, where you go and find him and use him in your party as like a key character.
What,
like the rest
he's
of your
stranded
family?
on a random planet and he's going to teach you the ways of the Force?
Yeah, like when he's destroyed, he just falls into the water instead.
The last Pancras.
The last Pancras. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like the fact that he was there and he gets completely fucked because like it adds like the shock value of like, oh shit.
Yeah, and he's really
Like
dead.
it really makes the enemy seem like an actual threat.
Yeah.
Which
It
is
builds
which
up
is
them,
which
so.
is a good thing because not all RPGs do that well.
Yeah.
Where like the enemy is seen as a big threat because they never really are.
And I
But,
kind of
like-
feel like the guy that killed him was a better bad guy than Nimzo.
Yeah, Laja.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did seem more, but like he always alluded to there being like a higher version than him.
Yeah.
So like if he was the main bad guy and he was doing the shit, then
Yep.
like I think it would have tied in better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I think Pancras being in there and then dying is was pretty important to me, I think.
My main disappointment with it though is that he's an awesome character, and I wish we got more of
because he's
him.
like bullshit strong in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because he's like level
Sephiroth complex.
he's like level 21 or some
But
shit,
eventually
which
you
is like
surpass him.
yeah, you
Right.
surpass him, but like that's the one thing that I really like about the Dragon Quest games. Is you don't have to be like a super high level to beat anything.
Yeah.
Because like it's like everything. What level were you guys when you beat the game?
I don't recall at this point.
I think
40, like the late 40s.
late
for most
40s.
of the
Somewhere in the
characters.
40s.
I was like level 42.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because like it's Pancras when he's like in your party, you know, just traveling around at the very beginning of the game when you're level 1, he's level 21. So
Something
he's
like
like
that,
basically where you would be like halfway through the game essentially. So it's like,
Oh, okay. So
he's fucking bullshit strong.
so basically when you reach his age, you're the same level.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I never
Yeah.
thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like,
Yeah.
and then you like get further and you get stronger, and then
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't have as much skills if by the time you reach
Yeah.
his age, by the time you were there, then maybe he wasn't something all that special.
Well, the main character does come from a legendary family too.
Yeah, 'cause
his
his
father
mother-
is a hero.
his father is a hero, and then his mother is
But
a
I'm saying that the
Zenithian,
hero
so-
just possesses the same amount as Pancras. So why would Pancras hold such a
but he
higher...
surpasses it.
I think the one
Right.
one thing that really does kind of bug me in the back of my mind is that like all it really takes to be the bloodline of the hero or to use the Zenithian equipment is to be Zenithian. And
So, like-
technically he is, and so he couldn't use it though, which
Right.
is kind of weird.
His seed is the one to allow to be equipped with it, but not him.
well, maybe
Well,
he's from a
his
Zenithian
seed-
line, but not like the hero's line.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense in a way, but at the same time, it's like, well, all they really needed, like, because that's what it wasn't for, is like, it only requires somebody that's a Zenithian to use the equipment. But there wasn't any Zenithian people on Earth or whatever. So they couldn't, so they had to have the hero who was a Zenithian use the Zenithian equipment. That's why I was like,
That's a good point.
It's kind of weird to me. Like, it would make sense if they needed, like, more Zenithian blood, which would make, because he would be, like, the kids would be 3/4. Because, like, her mom would be, like, the full, and then he's half, so...
Well, I guess just the point is that he's not from the hero bloodline, even though he's from Zenithian bloodline.
Yeah, they try to play that off, but I'm like, at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know all he has to be is Zenithian.
Yeah.
And he is. He's like technically half. But he can't use it. But he can still use the Zenithian sword as an item in battle.
Oh, I never tried that.
I did it.
Gameplay,
I did it.
But I don't think gameplay would just...
I did it, like, as soon as you find the Zenithian sword, I was like, oh, you can use it as an item? I'm fucking doing it, and I did
Craig
it.
Wow.
definitely loves his use of items.
I do love the use of
utilizes
weapons as
those
items.
things.
Was it good, though, when you used it?
I bet.
At the low levels, yeah, it was pretty destructive.
That's cool.
All right,
That's a cool element that I didn't know about.
Yeah, you can use it literally right when you get it, which is like pretty early on, considering.
That would help you a lot.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known that.
You two have pretty much summed up most of everything that I was going to discuss as the pluses and minuses of this. Just, I will say that it is, I was forever guessing what the fuck was coming next.
Yeah, because they threw the wrench at you right at the beginning of Pancras dying, so you never knew what was going to happen.
And then I end up as a slave, and then end up as a fucking statue.
Well, I didn't even know I was going to have children.
Magic carpet rides and moving castles, and Howl's moving castle.
Howl's moving castle.
Yeah, I kind of maybe suspected there would be like a marriage in there because like it's Hand of the Heavenly Bride,
right? And we're keep on.
I didn't necessarily know
bae?
I didn't know necessarily if I was going to get married or if the fact that I was going to have children or that the children was going to be the hero, like,
or you were going to rescue a princess, like in the first one.
Like that was going to happen.
I've played quite a few RPGs in my day, and this is unique, and I did not guess anything that was coming in this story.
All we really knew is that there was going to be a time element to the plot.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only thing I knew right from the beginning because you fucking see yourself. But you know what? I actually enjoy that in a way because it's like most time plots will fuck everything. They just fuck the story, and I hate it. It pisses me off. But in this, like, as a child, you see it, and so it's like, oh, so you can kind of see what's going to happen. Yep. And at the same time, so it like ties up kind of nicely in a way that.
My only complaint though is that the character when you meet him is dressed in the same clothes as you, so it's a bit too obvious.
You wear like the same thing throughout the entirety of your life, which is weird. But
so if they had changed his clothing,
that is weird. He's just got.
I would have been way more surprised.
Yeah, because like it's just like when you're a kid, it's just you tiny, but with the same turban and cape.
Yeah,
the clothes grow with him,
and then you get older, and then it's you with the same turban and cape, but then you also get a cane.
So I guess it's good from like the point where
pimp stick.
It keeps you guessing because this character looks like you, but also it loses the shock value when you figure that out that it's you from the future. And I think it would have been more effective if they had just like thrown that in there and connected it together with a gold orb. I feel like that would have been more support.
Oh, hi there. I hope you enjoyed this clip from Puff Puff Hour, a Dragon Quest podcast. If you happen to like what you see, you should subscribe. We have full podcast episodes detailing the main series of Dragon Quest 1 through 11. Oh yeah, and if you like the content, you should check out our other shows from All Out Geekdom Entertainment. We have Nude Clan and Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. Or, Dragon Quest.